Viewers, today we are going to discuss on the agent of the disease, the etiological agent of a disease, the organism causing the disease. So when we refer to as agent, is either biotic or abiotic, either infectious or non-infectious agent that are necessary cause of the disease. I thought means without agent there will be no disease as a necessary etiological factor which cause disease. So what I say there is biotic which is infectious and there is abiotic which are non-infectious. Like the biotic or that is biotic, that means those living organisms that are able to cause disease like bacteria, viruses, fungi, algae, and the rest. These organisms are parasites, many parasites. So these organisms can be able to cause a disease, and therefore they are referred to as infectious agent. So mostly people are forgetting about the non-infectious. The non-infectious are also agents of the disease, causing disease. We have many non-infectious agents that are causing the disease. Something to do with the malnutrition, something to do with nutritional imbalances. They cause disease. When you have too much in excess or less than what is body required of vitamins or mineral, you may develop a disease or abnormality. We have chemical substances, also they are and toxic substances. Chemical substances and toxic substances, they may cause a disease. And then we have physical, such as ionizing or trauma. Trauma is also a disease. When you break your leg, when somebody break your leg, that means you are in a health condition, a health situation, thereby it's also a disease. So you find out this infectious agent, the organisms, the biotic, those ones that are necessary to cause disease. To cause disease, we have what we refer to as the characteristics of the agent. Characteristics of the agent, biotic agent, the contagious organisms, the organisms that are transmissible. These characteristics include being a reservoir. It has a reservoir. It can be what we call it must have a transmission. It must have incubation period. It must have pathogenicity, infectivity, invasiveness, and virulence. So all these are characteristics of a pathogenic agent. Agents that are biotic, that are necessary cause of the disease. So if you take, for example, the reservoir, some agents, if a particular agent must have some of these most of these characteristics, being a reservoir. A reservoir is an animate or inanimate matter which is able to maintain disease causing agent in a nature. Example, soil is a natural environment of Clostridium species. Thereby you find out now that soil is the natural reservoir of Clostridium tetani, Clostridium, whatever it is. So you find Clostridium species has soil as its reservoir. So every organism, it has its own where it reserves itself. It can be able to maintain itself and continue to cause disease in a nature. What we call transmission, the organism must be able to transmission characteristics. That means it's transmission transfer of agent either from the reservoir to the host and from one host to another host. But like you always we say susceptible host, a host that is susceptible. And then incubation period. Every infectious agent, biotic infectious agent, must have what we call incubation period. Is a time from the entry of the host from the entry of the agent into the host to the time when it start presenting clinical appearances, clinical manifestation in the host. So some they have a very short incubation period, while some they have a very large incubation period, a very long incubation period. So you find out all the organisms have what we call incubation period. Then it must have a pathogenicity. Pathogenicity is the ability of an organism to injure the host once and after infection. So when it has now entered into the host, then it can be able to injure, to cause an injury, to cause an injury into the host. Then we also have what we call, let me issue of this pathogenicity. This may be due to one of the following. Pathogenicity of the organism may be due to one of the following: either release of the toxin. Some organisms produces toxins like enterotoxigenic E. coli. E. coli that is releasing toxins when it enters into the host. Then we also have destruction of cells by viruses, cytopathic effect. Some organisms destroy cells. They destroy the cells, and thereby what you refer to cytopathic effect. Some is a mechanical effect, like blockage of small intercapillary. Blockage of some organisms, like Staphylococcus aureus, may block some of the capillaries and thereby causing its own damage. Now we have what we call infectivity. Infectivity is the ability of the agent to initiate and maintain an infection. The organisms has to initiate and maintain infection to enter into the host. Once an organism enter into the host, an infection has occurred. Once you drink water with salmonella inside, you have already been infected. But mind you, infection is not synonymous with disease. You can be infected, but you may not necessarily have the disease. So then another characteristic is the invasiveness. Invasiveness is a power of the organisms to progress further into the host from the initial point of infection. So organisms enter into the host, and then from there they may perpetuate and go and attack where they are tied. Remember, all organisms, they have their own preference site of attack. Some they want to be inside your blood, some they want to be inside your cerebral spinal meningitis, some they want to be into the brain cells. So like organisms have their own preference of where they want to attack. So from there, you have been what we call portal of entry. So the organisms need to have what we call portal of entry in the skin, maybe where the skin is cracked or damaged, or in your mouth where it has bleeding or something like that. So they must have portal of entry, and when they enter, so that power, that ability for them to progress further into the host and cause and initiate point of initiate infection from the point of infection, from the portal of entry to the site where they may grow. Then the last one is what we call the virulence of the agent, the degree of severity of disease caused by the agent. So degree of severity, that means some organisms, some infectious agents, they are more severe. They cause more severe infection than others. For example, now, when you have been, for example, diagnosed in the hospital, the doctor told you so you have a viral disease, you may be more frightened when they say you have a bacterial disease or you have a fungal disease. You may not necessarily frighten much when doctor told you say you have a fungal disease. But when they say you have a viral disease, then you say, I am worried whether they will say a very big disease name like virus, HIV, or hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C virus. So organisms has their own degree of severity. Virus is more severe in causing the disease than maybe bacteria, then also followed by fungi. So this comes to the end of the lecture. But apart from the agent, we have the host, we have the environment. But we are more interested in the agent. That is why we bring the agent. So that is the end of the lecture. Thank you very much for watching.